Today, we're tackling a big question. Is a Mac still a good choice for developers now that Apple has switched from Intel to their own Apple Silicon chips? Back in the Intel days, the answer was simple. Macs were awesome because they could run macOS and Windows, making them super versatile. But with Apple Silicon, things have changed. So, let's break it down to help you decide if a Mac is still the right tool for your coding journey. What kind of developer are you? Before we dive in, the first thing to figure out is what kind of developer you are. This is critical because your tech stack and development goals heavily influence whether a Mac is the best choice. If you're developing for Apple platforms like iOS, macOS, or watchOS, the decision is a no-brainer. You need a Mac. Even if you're using cross-platform tools like Flutter or React Native, you'll still need a Mac to build and deploy your final iOS or macOS binaries. Apple's ecosystem is locked down, so there's no way around it. If this is you, grab a Mac, and you're good to go. Web development and common tech stacks. Now, if you're a web developer, the answer depends on your tech stack. For languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, or PHP, a Mac is still a fantastic choice. macOS is Unix-based, so it's developer-friendly with a robust terminal, homebrew for package management, and great support for tools like Docker, Node.js, and VS Code. You'll have everything you need to build and test web apps smoothly. But here's where it gets tricky. If you're working with the .NET framework, things aren't as rosy. Yes, technically you can run .NET on a Mac. Microsoft supports it, but the experience isn't always pleasant. Many .NET projects are built with Windows as the primary platform, so you might run into compatibility issues. For example, something as basic as file path handling can break because of differences between Windows and macOS. If .NET is your main framework, you might want to stick with a Windows machine or at least have one handy for testing. Niche hardware and specialized development. Another thing to consider is whether you work with niche hardware. Macs are famous for their plug-and-play experience in the consumer market, but for specialized or niche hardware, it's a different story. For example, some small hardware vendors, say a touchscreen manufacturer in China, might only provide Windows drivers. No macOS support, no workaround. This is especially true for things like hardware relays or other industrial devices where Windows is treated as the first-class citizen. If your development involves this kind of hardware, you might find yourself stuck writing your own drivers for macOS or dealing with constant compatibility headaches. In these cases, a Windows PC or even a Linux machine might be a better fit. Making your decision. Ultimately, the Mac's sleek design, powerful Apple Silicon chips, and macOS ecosystem make it a top-tier choice for most developers. But if your work leans heavily on Windows-specific tools or niche hardware, you might need to weigh your options carefully. That's it for today's video. Are you a developer using a Mac, or have you switched to another platform? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know what topics you want me to cover next. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more tech tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.